Hey, what's up? It's currently day 17 of becoming a great investor. Got some good sleep today, which I'm very happy about. Kind of, but I also laid in bed for a little bit. It's currently 12:55, and kind of been bad with the sleep schedule, so I'm probably going to need to fix that. Alright, let's see. So I haven't really planned today out yet. It's currently Thursday, January 4th, 2024. Alright, so what do I want to do today? I think there's definitely, I want to be able to keep track of on the news, what's going on every day. One hour Anki, read the news, read another. Fashion related stocks. So I'll do whatever I wasn't able to do yesterday. And then also maybe add another read the news, 1 hour Anki. So review current stocks. Yeah. I think I'll call though. I'll be back. Okay. Review current reports and then maybe And okay, thanks. Okay. Add to VF Corp report. Yeah, I wonder if there's other stuff. So VF Corporation. I'm curious on this one actually.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology.
After the close today, VF Corp, the footwear and apparel company you know as Vans, North Face, Timberland, Dickies, Supreme, and many others, reported what we call a kitchen sink quarter. This summer, the long-struggling company brought in Bracken Darrell from Logitech. Remember him as the new CEO, and now he's got a real tough job. But he's also got a great track record. Logitech up almost 750% for the time he took over in 2013 through the time he retired this summer. You know, that's more than triple what the S&P did. Tonight, Darrell took his first step toward turning VF Corp around. The company reported inline sales with slightly weaker than expected earnings, and more importantly, it straight up withdrew its full-year earnings forecast, slashed its free cash flow guidance, slashed its dividend, and warned that Vans sneaker business wouldn't get better this year. We call this a kitchen sink quarter because management throws everything bearish in there to get ahead of things. What's the plan for a turnaround? Let's check in with Bracken Darrell, the new president and CEO of VF Corp, to get a better read on the situation. Mr. Darrell, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hey, it is so good to be here, Jim. I couldn't wait to see you again.
I feel the same way, Bracken. And I think that what you have done is taken on, like you did with Logitech, a very tough situation. You're no stranger to tough situations. Can you kind of give us a sketch about what you've been thinking in the first 100 days?
Yeah, you know, I couldn't be more excited. You know, as you said, you know, I had a turnaround when I got to Logitech. I had a turnaround long ago, my first job on Old Spice. And so I'm kind of accustomed to being there. But I'm a very long-term person underneath. And so I'm only doing things that really looking for a really long-term value creation. I really see four things that we need to do, Jim, in short order. And then we'll have a bigger strategy that will follow. The first one is our U.S. business has always lagged the rest of the world. So we're taking the same approach we've taken to EMEA and to APAC, and we're applying it to the U.S., and we're going to put it under one leader, very strong leader. And so that's step one. Number two is we're going to deliver the Vans turnaround. You know, Vans has been in a decline for a couple of years now, came off a very, very high number. Now it's coming down. We're going to deliver that Vans turnaround. The third is we're going to lower our cost base. You won't be surprised at that. So we're going to do a $300 million restructuring, really reduce the cost across the board and reinvest back into innovation and brand building. And then finally, we're going to delever, lower our debt, and really strengthen that balance sheet. So those are the four key priorities. Super simple, super clear, we're really intensely after them all.
All right, so what attracted you to this? I mean, Logitech, we all use the devices. We all use them ever since you were there. You introduced so many great ones. Why this task right now for you?
Well, I loved Logitech, and I had such an incredible time there. But I was getting towards I turned 60, Jim. And so I decided, you know, if I'm going to have one more go at something in a public company arena, it's got to be something I'm excited about. And this is not just one brand. It's really an array of brands. They're household names. They're all deeply embedded in the culture. They're super powerful. And the business needs to turn around and turn back into something. These brands, we already have some of this stuff that's just on fire. I mean, the North Face is a phenomenal brand. And Vans has the potential to get back to being one. Supreme's super interesting. Timberland's like a part of the hip-hop culture. So I just got very excited about not just the categories, but the brands themselves.
Well, let's talk about something that you said as one of the top priorities. You said you have to delever. Number four, how can you delever without selling some of these offerings?
Well, we've announced that we're going to sell a very high-performing asset, by the way. It's called the Packs business. It's Eastpak and JanSport and Kipling. That business continues to do very, very well. So that is going through a sale process. We're in the middle of that now. And between that, we announced that we'd lower our dividend today.
Right.
So that's another contribution to that is going through a sale process. That business continues to do very, very well. So that is going through a sale process.
Number 4, how can you delever without selling some of these offerings?
Well, we've announced that we're going to sell a very high-performing asset, by the way. It's called the PAX business. It's Eastpak and JanSport and Kipling. That business continues to do very, very well. So that is going through a sale process. We're in the middle of that now. And between that, we announced that we'd lower our dividend today.
Right.
So that's another contribution to delevering. So when you add that up with our performance, we will delever, and we will, we've got 2 tranches of debt coming up, about $1.75 billion in total, and our intention is to pay off both those off.
Okay, now what is an analog that you can give me of a sneaker turnaround? They're hard to find.
An analog, I have a lot of respect for what New Balance has done.
Yes.
I think New Balance is a great story. Great story. I mean, I was never a New Balance customer, but I remember New Balance when I was growing up, and I thought of them as just a running brand. I think they've done a super nice job.
Yeah, they are doing. It's a great example of what can turn around. Now, I came back from Iceland recently, and I wanted to recommend just before you got here. I said, well, I got to find this VF Corp for the club, because when you're in Europe, North Face that's the most predominant brand. How can that happen again here in the United States? Can that occur?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the bottom line is the platform that we're running in Europe has been in place now for several years, and it's just had success across all our brands. So we're going to bring that platform right into the U.S. What is a platform? It's a way of doing business that basically transfers best practices across the business very, very quickly and effectively. So yeah, I absolutely think that the North Face can be as strong here as it is in Europe.
I know that you're a guy who would say, Jim, you can't look back, you just look forward. But I remember the initial VF Corp, because it was very close to my home in Pennsylvania. And then I heard they had to move to North Carolina because that would be close to where the mills were. Are there any mills in Colorado? Is that move make sense in any way?
No, we're out of mills now. But the one thing that Colorado has is it's very close to those mountains, those Rocky Mountains. And the North Face is all about being in the mountains and outside. So I think from that standpoint, it's a very good fit. We also have these brands called Smartwool and Icebreaker, which if you've never tried one, they're amazing. I mean, Smartwool, it's merino wool brands that are really a certain kind of merino wool that is very, very comfortable, very warm, very breathable, and natural.
All right, well, that's a good example of something I didn't know and why I think that you're the right guy for the job. There are people who say, Jim, he's a tech guy. How could he be there? I think you're a brand guy who is very aware of fashion and what people like. That's what I always felt you were ahead of in Logitech. Am I too optimistic? Am I making statements that perhaps I'm going to regret because Bracken Darrell's going to take a little longer time than I hope he does?
My job is to make you so right. That's absolutely what I'm going to do.
Well, I believe it. I think that one of the things that you understand more than anyone is that there are brands that have a technical nature, actual technical, that people really like because they're authentic. You have got these brands. Some of them are technical, but some are just kind of like out there. And I have to tell you, when I see the Vans decline, I think, what was Vans that it became something else? It was an authentic brand, and it seemed like it became a knockoff of itself.
Well, I think what Vans really was, for those, and I hope that there are some people listening who are big Vans fans, what Vans really was inside all of us, there's a little bit of an underdog, a little bit of an outsider. Not everybody, but almost everybody. And Vans really catered to that through the skater community. But it was really for all those people, whether you skated or not. And I think we got so big, and we ended up kind of catering to other people that were just purely into fashion, which is not bad, but we kind of lost our way on really making sure we're always appealing to that certainly slightly mischievous, fun side that we all have inside.
Now, is that also like Timberland, which at one point was just the shoe that you wanted to climb a mountain with, then it became a hip-hop shoe, but then it became kind of just another boot?
Yeah, Timberland, it's so associated with hip-hop. This is the 50th year anniversary of hip-hop. You probably knew that. If you didn't, you do that now. And it's also the 50th year of that boot, of that beautiful boot. We just created a movie that's really amazing. Susie Mulder, who runs our business, and her whole team created this movie that is it's worth watching. I don't know where you can watch it yet. I'll try to make it available, but anyway, it celebrates the fact that this really was part of the culture, Timberland, and our goal is to really leverage that.
Well, I hope you will come on repeatedly because you're a straight up front guy. And by the way, I am pulling for you, okay? I'm just straight up. Not about friends, about money, but I am pulling for Bracken Darrell, VF Corp President and CEO. Hey, great to have you back on the show. Great to see you.
Thank you, Joe.
Man, Money's back after the break.
Yeah.
Wix is your platform to perform on.
This was Stephen.
Steve, do you mind giving us an overview of your company and your brands?
Absolutely. VF Corporation is a 120-year-old enterprise focused on in the apparel and footwear segment. Some of the brands you might know would be our Vans business. It's our largest and fastest growing today. The North Face, Timberland.
Okay, that's sad because this was the fastest growing in 2019, and then the company just that brand kind of stopped growing there. All right, so that was kind of a good introduction into what's going on with Vans and VF Corp as a whole. I think, let's see, opinion. Let's see what's in the business. Oh yeah, this is an article about VF Corp Bracondale. Energy and oil, video, media. Interesting. Disney wins back Yankee investor in battle with Nelson Peltz. Here in graphics. Retail, punch yourself machine parking suppliers. COVID / how IKEA downsized to go downtown. Bloomin' Brands name. It's Bloomin' Brands. Oh wow, Outback's Carrabba. Interesting. JD.com. I wonder what's midflation. Oh, MasterCard spending pulse. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. MasterCard spending pulse. Oh, is this something that's... Oh, this might be something that's actually behind a paywall. Oh, I see. MasterCard Investor Relations. Visa. What's the other one? Discover. And American Express. I see. This will be interesting, actually. The Zing Fund. Zing Fund. CEO. Let's say founder. Oh my god. Travel insights, frequency of errors. North America, US economy. I guess we could try all of them. Can I not? Saying. Oh, I wonder if I can, because I have the domain name zingfund.com. I wonder if I can create my own business email. Alright, I won't worry about this right now. Okay, shoppers open their malls this holiday season as they have much more for much of 2023. Even crowding into shopping malls to skip the last minute. According US retail sales rose from 3.1%, which measures sales in stores online, which isn't adjusted for inflation, reflects a year marked by rising prices and a strong US job market. So it seems like the underlying inflation has. So let's try. Personal consumption expenditures price index. Personal outlays, personal consumption, expenditures, goods, non-durable goods. Goods, non-durable. So PCE excluding food and energy. Durable goods.
你这个上面好了，已经有好多 scratch。
Yeah, it does. Nice.
你 turn
Oh,
on，
it's slow? Oh.
我给你 turn off。它一直在那儿。感觉行一点。应该行。
Yeah, this is pretty good. Thanks. Yay. Personal consumption expenditure. guess there's also the CPI. Airline fares, hotels and motels. Is there like a retail? For select automotive, utility, and food item. Is there CPI measure of retail prices? Or market basket of goods and services. Right. Let's see what the CPI market basket is. News release. Let's see, 2023 Consumer Price Index. I think a lot of this was happening maybe October 2022. So it was just energy that was really skyrocketing, fuel oil. So food, all items less food and energy, just 0.3. Right, commodities less food and new vehicles, used cars and trucks, apparel. It's actually declined. Yeah, I'm curious. Let's see in November. So it just seemed like apparel, apparel itself, inflation is modest. Apparel's pretty modest, okay. Yeah, I guess when I look at it, it seems like the most volatile changes come from energy and energy services. So these are the ones that are more than, let's say, 2% increase or decrease per month. But also then you have big ones like transportation services and used cars and trucks. What's this? Services less energy services. So shelter, transportation, and New vehicles, medical care, commodities, food at home. Is it 3% annual inflation? Federal Reserve target inflation rate. Reserve target inflation rate of 2%. I think this is an annual rate, right? %. So what's commodities less food and energy commodities? So okay. Food has increased, all items. Personal consumption expenditures. I think it's just a measure of consumer spending, right? CPI. So I think CPI is just a surveyed market basket to calculate inflation, while personal consumption expenditures actually measures consumer spending itself. All urban households. Yeah, maybe this could be an interesting. Okay, so let's add the Zang fund. Resources. Resources.txt. Helpful pamphlets. Difference between CPI and PCE. Okay. So let's get back on track, right? Retail sales, so maybe. So currently reading the news on retail sales during the holiday. Distracted and looked at the CPI versus PCE. Also, BF Corp, Bracken, Dow. Similarly, estimated Saturday, December 23rd was the biggest sales day of the year, topping Black Friday. Interesting. Without concerns about supply or feeling like they owe us a deal. Circana. Increased 6% year over year, while in-store sales rose 2.2% according to MasterCard Spending Pulse, which excludes automobile purchases and travel services. Okay. There were pockets of weaknesses, with sales of electronics and jewelry declining year over year from November 1st to December 24th. Some restaurants, as people dined out and menu prices were higher. Strong spending, especially on travel and dining, helped buoy the U.S. economy in 2023, even as the U.S. Reserve pushed up interest rates to the highest level in more than 2 decades. Spending eased in some categories, especially appliance electronics, after many households splurged during the pandemic. Retailers have given a mixed reading on the state of their business during the critical holiday season. Some stores have logged steady sales, while others have cautioned that people are pulling back. Oh, millions of Americans have resumed monthly payments on student loans. So the economic backdrop has improved, and inflation has cooled from its peak earlier this year as the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates. Fed's preferred measure. Okay. This is from Nike and FedEx, which reported the last quarterly earnings before Christmas. Both companies lowered their revenue forecasts and disappointed investors who sent their shares tumbling. Alright, let's take a look at FedEx. This is before. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you, Google. Your revenue forecast. Shares plunge. Dates. Oh, this is just a few days, 1 year. 5 year. Okay, so it's doubled. Wow. 2000. Alright, not as bad as a scare as in, I don't think, at least, right? Not too sure. There's also Nike as well. Let's take a look at 1 month, maybe 6 month. Right. Nike Foot Locker shares. So let's take a look at Foot Locker then. Stock. 6 months. Yeah, I'm surprised. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to this. Gotta go meet my friend right now, but this is kind of interesting article here. South outside of events. FedEx Chief Executive Raj Subramanian said the mix of consumer spending between goods and services is close to pre-pandemic levels. Okay. So I don't know how reliable this is. Unit sales of discretionary general merchandise has declined 6% with last year. Okay. Could toy building sets, Legos maybe, plush toys for adults, prestige, beauty, and portable beverageware. Interesting. This one of those. Average 14 billion. Johnson estimates that November sales average 14.9 billion a day, with an average 13.8 billion. Wow. The Saturday before Christmas pulled in 47 billion in sales. 2 billion more than he expected. That made it the biggest shopping day of the season, with Black Friday as close second. The week after Christmas had gained importance for retailers as consumers visit stores to make returns or seek out deeper discounts. Yeah. Some chains began promoting their post-Christmas sales well before Christmas Eve. 26% of clothing. National Retail Federation has retail holiday sales to between. Wow. Okay. Excludes spending on car dealers, gas stations, restaurants. Okay, that'd be cool. For their post-holiday. Okay. So back. Okay. So going to meets friends and going for a walk. But when I come back, hope to do some more wandering. Not wondering. Wandering in the WSJ. Okay. Alright. I didn't take any notes yet of any of the stuff I was reading, but I think just to recap, some interesting stuff I saw was that some of these people, I guess they're consultants or researchers in their own independent advisory firms, are estimating that retail sales excluding any money that's spent in restaurants, so anything related to, I guess, dining, also cars, so anything that's related to the sale of vehicles, and I think there's one more, something else that was in there that I forgot already. Not great memory, right? Let's see. Gas stations. Okay, so they're predicting a bit of an increase, the National Retail Federation, but there's also the, I think, Sarkana and another independent advisory group where they're predicting a decent amount of growth within the spending for the holiday season. I think somewhere between November 1st to December 26th, so the day after. Okay, December 26th, and this says December 31st. So where did I get December 26th from? Because I think that was in maybe the Spending Pulse. Okay, 24th. Alright, so there's also MasterCard Spending Pulse that accounted for retail sales, but doesn't account for inflation and also the possibility of returns, which I'm sure is a pretty big thing and might be a reason why. Connecting the dots here. So I think earlier on, maybe last week, we found out that some reasons why retailers or publicly traded companies might choose to report later in the year as opposed to, let's say, the end of the year or beginning in January is because they want to have some time, and when the customers that bought a lot of products can kind of make their returns. And so instead of having analysts estimate the amount of returns during the peak shopping seasons for consumers, which is usually during Q4, so that's the holiday season. And also, I guess for more apparel clothing retailers, it's usually in the back to school season, so around August, September. Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Back to school shopping is a big thing. I think maybe during some major holidays, it's also a big thing. That's when a lot of retailers have these discounts, so it's interesting. And I think what's one takeaway? Some other takeaways: FedEx, they claim that consumer spending is back to normal or back to pre-pandemic levels, which I guess is maybe less than what consumer spending was last year because of the heightened amount of stimulus payments. I'm pretty sure. And then that could be something to look at, actually. What else is there? I think they did, FedEx though, and Nike ended up revising their, I guess, diminishing their outlook on performance and revenue in the upcoming quarters. And then I think another big thing that might impact consumer spending is the fact that a lot of Americans are having to repay their debts, their student loans. So that's another big problem that retailers might face. Yeah, with that being said, gonna go eat now, and I will see ya later.